Pakistan will file a petition requesting LAT Operations Commander Lakhvi's voice sample. Well, prosecution team asked Chaudhry Azhar confirmed that no fresh petition will be filed to obtain Lakhvi's voice sample. The announcement comes just 48 hours after Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met in Russia and agreed ways to expedite Mumbai case trial, including the additional information like providing voice samples. Let's quickly listen into Ujjwal Nikam, Senior Counsel, who in fact spoke about this.
If Pakistan Prime Minister assures Indian Prime Minister that they were ready to give the voice sample, then how Lakhvi can refuse it? Because according to the Pakistan Terrorist Act, there is a recent amendment in the Pakistan law that if any person refuses to give voice sample, so far as the accused person is concerned, the necessary adverse inference is required to be drawn. So now it is very clear that this trial in Pakistan is on the verge of the completion. Now, why Pakistani prosecuting agency had not taken voice sample earlier during the course of investigation, why it was not asked for? All these questions are required to be answered now by Pakistan. देखिए, लखवी से इनकार करने से दो बात साफ जाहिर होती है। पहली बात तो ये है कि लखवी इसलिए नहीं आज कह रहा है क्योंकि उसे पता है कि अगर वो वॉइस सैंपल देता है और जो हमने वॉइस उसका इंटरसेप्ट किया है जब 26/11 का हमला चल रहा था।
Well, let me quickly cut across to Rizwan Abbasi. He is the lawyer for Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. Mr. Abbasi, my first question to you: why is it that the Pakistani Prime Minister's assurance will not be honored in Pakistan? He has said to the Indian Prime Minister that the voice samples would be given. Now, what we are hearing is that there is no plan like that.
So far as the assurance of Pakistani Prime Minister is concerned, you have to see one thing, that matter is not before the investigating agency. Now case is sub judice before the trial court. Trial court is not controlled by the Prime Minister, or that is not controlled by the executive. Everything which is going on in the trial court, that will be done or is going on as per Pakistani law. I have heard my friend Mr. Khan. I disagree with his assertions on the ground that as per Article 13, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution of Pakistan, there is totally bar against self-incrimination. One cannot be forced to become witness against himself, one thing. Secondly, it is on the line of Article 20 of the Indian Constitution. Moreover, so far as the recent amendment is concerned, it does not have any retrospective effect. If some amendment is made in any penal law, that cannot affect retrospectively. So, recent amendment does not help the prosecution.
Mr. Abbasi, is there a fear that if the voice samples are matched, then the cover over Lakhvi would be blown?
No, it is not like that. This is the legal right of the accused person. Trial is going on, and so far as this authenticity of the CD is concerned, that is seriously doubted from our side, because there is no evidence of chain of custody, etc. And everybody knows that in CDs and such kind of recordings, there is every chance of falsification and all these erasing and tampering, etc. So these cannot be ignored, and this is not a foolproof testimony.
Sir, does this mean that the word of the Pakistani Prime Minister on an international forum has no value at all? Or was he misinformed? Did he not know all this?
You may ask it from the Prime Minister, because it is a trial is sub judice before the court of law, and all the rights which are available to the accused, he can avail the right, and as per law, no adverse inference can be drawn. So, and still we have not decided about that whether we will give voice samples or not. When application will be moved by the prosecution side, then we will decide. We have not denied. We have not refused to give voice samples. We are saying that when some application will be preferred, then we will decide whether to give it or not to give it.
So stay on with me. Stay on with me. I request you to stay on with me for a couple of minutes. Joining me now is also my colleague Smita Sharma, and from for Pakistan, my colleague Hamza Ahmed. Hamza, very quickly coming to you first. The lawyer of Zakir Rahman Lakhvi is saying that there is no provision and there is no need for voice samples of Lakhvi to be recorded as of now. And the Prime Minister, whatever he has said, has no value as far as the courts are concerned. How should India see this? It clearly shows that the Prime Minister, either he absolutely had no idea about the laws of his own country, or else it should be seen as Prime Minister making a fool, trying to play with the Indian sentiments and just making false promises on an international forum.
Well, I think we need to understand this, and that Pakistan, when it comes to tackling down the Mumbai terror attack case, were accused Zakir Rahman Lakhvi is doing the same thing as it did on Hafiz Saeed's case. They talk about rooting out terrorism. They talk about countering terrorism and working towards a final decision on the Mumbai terror attack case. But on the other hand, you see what happened to Hafiz Saeed. He's right now a free man in Pakistan. The same process is going on for Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, and his voice samples is just one small bit of what the whole chain actually is about. Zakir Rahman Lakhvi was freed on bail. Zakir Rahman Lakhvi Rao has also got the audacity to actually come up and say that I will not record my voice and they cannot force it out of me. This is how free he is. In Pakistan, and he certainly is not considering himself as one of the accused in the Mumbai terror attack case. So Pakistan, while on one side talks about tackling terrorism, especially Indian concerns on Mumbai terror attack, on the other hand, in Pakistani courts, the process is something different. So what they're talking about when they sit on the table is something that is only for scripting, I think, and what's happening on ground is entirely different.
Hamza, stay on with me. Smita, if what Hamza is telling us, and also what Rizwan Abbasi, Lakhvi's lawyer, just said, that there is no provision for these voice samples to be taken. Now the question also would be on the way the BJP put it as a diplomatic victory. Pakistan time and again has betrayed, have gone back on their words. It just seems that it was only mere lip service that was done by the Pakistani Prime Minister.
Well, Kit, I wouldn't be surprised, having covered the India-Pak story for a very long time, the way the reactions poured in, of course, with the ruling party that goes into such agreements, making euphoric statements of celebration, saying that it's a diplomatic achievement, while the opposition, which in this case is Congress, now saying that, of course, the BJP was in a way hoodwinked by the Pakistanis. But, having said that, this matter actually, as Mr. Abbasi was pointing out, it was petitioned in the trial court in 2011 when the court had turned down. And on Friday itself, I was posing this question to experts as well as, of course, to diplomatic sources, because this did seem to be a lot ambiguous in that joint statement. But what diplomatic sources told us was all that details need to be worked about. Remember, we also have that counter-terror mechanism now at the level of the NSAs on both sides, including, of course, the Indian NSA, which is Ajit Doval, which is expected to meet sometime in New Delhi. Maybe post the 15th of August is what we are looking at. But, Zakir Rahman Lakhvi's lawyer, or Lakhvi himself, is well within their legal rights to say that they will not give their voice samples. But if Mr. Abbasi is still on the line with us, I would like to ask him that is it possible for him legally, technically, to maybe approach a higher court or the Supreme Court to ask for an order upturning the trial court's order?
Let me just try and connect with Mr. Abbasi. Mr. Abbasi, of course, is not. Mr. Abbasi, are you with us?
Yeah, I am hearing you.
Sir, please, my colleague Smita Sharma was asking you a question, whether it is possible for you to approach a higher court to, to overturn this order.
No, why should I approach the higher court to set aside the earlier order? And listen, I refer one judgment from your side, that is the view of Justice Aftab Alam. I think he is a justice in Supreme Court of India. In Ritesh Sena's case, he also declared the same thing, that there is no provision of law forcing accused persons to give voice sample against his wish, as per Article 20, Sub-Article 3 of the Indian Constitution. So same law is here. As per Article 13, Sub-Article 2, you cannot force somebody to become witness against himself. And secondly, I have already told you that when this application will be preferred, we will see the honesty on the part of the prosecution, honesty on the, try to judge the honesty on your part, that if there is some CD coming out from protected hands, if chain of custody is there and all those formalities or legalities have been fulfilled, then we will think about that.
Yes.
But if we will visualize some dishonesties on the part of the prosecution, that there is, they will try to make some maneuvering, some tampering, some fabrication, then definitely we will avail the right which is available in the law.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. Smita, very quickly before we slip into a short break, I wanted to ask you, how do you see it now changing? Will all those promises about the Prime Minister going to Pakistan and the way forward as far as the Indo-Pak talks are concerned, Pakistan already going back on its words as far as Zakir Rahman Lakhvi is concerned, do you see any change now happening from the Indian side?
Ankit, you know what this UFA summit meeting did essentially was two things. A, it bought some more time for India and Pakistan as they got back to the dialogue table, wherein they said that, look, as far as counter-terrorism, which definitely remains the basic bone of contention between the two countries,
yes,
let's try and sort that out, put it out of the comprehensive dialogue process, which has other issues, of course, like...
Is there going to be a rethink now, Smita?
No, I don't think that's going to be a rethink immediately, because remember the SAARC summit is only going to be held sometime much later next year, which is October, November, and
yes,
that's a lot of time. 18 months is a lot of time between India-Pakistan relationship, but clearly there will be some answers that will be sought from the Indian government, of course, along with the Pakistani government.
Okay, thank you so much, Smita, and also Hamza, my colleague, for joining us from Islamabad.